is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on the Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. I'm here, you guys. Wow, what an adventure today. Sorry, I ran a little bit late because I was watching the Wendy Williams Breakfast Club interview, and I have got to tell you guys, wow, I am shook. I am floored by everything it is that she had to say. My heart was breaking for her at some of the revelations. I am going to be playing her voice back for you guys to be able to hear it for yourselves, what it is that she has to say about her current situation. I can't, what is with these conservatorships that they put people under? Did it remind anybody else of Britney Spears? Do you guys remember? Although Britney Spears took a lot longer, her situation for us to hear her voice, it took ages, and it was in front of the courts and everything like that in a leaked audio. But in the Wendy Williams case, she called into the Breakfast Club alongside her niece and just spilled her guts out about the ways in which they are subjecting her to live. Of course, we're going to go over all of it later on here, but just as a little bit of a heads up, she talked about not having access to technology, being cut off from her family, being forced to spend all of her birthdays completely alone in this like apartment with one singular window. I see Boss Lady listened to the interview. Did anybody else listen as well? It truly was devastating to hear the way in which Wendy Williams was living. And I spoke to one of my friends here on YouTube, Stephanie, from Allegedly Stephanie, and she too doesn't really understand how it is that these conservatorships are able to operate in the ways in which they do. They were set up and supposed to be set up to help people, but it seems like they are meant to break people down and to steal their money. So Wendy and her team, they do have some calls to action for us. They want us to use the Free Wendy hashtag, talk about it as much as possible, like we're doing here. They talked about setting up some sort of a GoFundMe. And of course, you would kind of scoff and say, well, why would Wendy Williams need a GoFundMe? She is so rich, right? She's got millions upon millions of dollars. Why would she be asking regular people to donate? Well, here's the thing. Wendy says that she only has $15 right now because the conservatorship has access. Well, she doesn't say this part explicitly. This is something she's not allowed to say, but her niece says it for us. The conservatorship has access to all of her money, and they only decide how much she can have. And so right now she only has $15. Imagine that. You work your entire life and only for your money to be stolen by a random person you don't even know. And that person only rations you about $15. And you were a grown-ass woman accustomed to living in the lap of luxury. Malen said that she cried. Oh my God. And I'm right there with you. It was sad. I'm seeing Sassy saying that she is nervous about retaliation. And that's something that was brought up in the interview as well, that they could punish her, you guys. They could truly punish her by taking away that one little phone that she has, which is her one form of access to the outside world. And it's not like an iPhone or an Android or something like that. It's some kind of pre-programmed random model of a phone designed to cut off people from being able to contact Wendy. Only Wendy is allowed to contact people. And then she lives in this like skyrise. I'll call it a tower. She lives in this prison tower, basically, where there are people downstairs who decide whether or not she gets to have visitors, right? And it's like Malen says, they drive you crazy, right? They're claiming that they do this in order to protect and help the person, but you are driving people crazy. You are isolating them. She's not even allowed to go outside when she wants to go outside. It has to be scheduled for her to go outside. She has to get permission. Her father is 94 years old. And she doesn't even know she's going to be able to or allowed to go to Miami to celebrate his birthday. Just think about that. Your parent being that old, right? Where every single day is a blessing, a gift, a miracle. And you don't even know if you are going to be allowed by some random person you don't even know. And this person is going around telling people you are incapacitated, you've got dementia. I lost the backing for that earring. Sorry, y'all. I was taking notes furiously because that interview just came out and it was about 40 minutes. So that's why I'm kind of late and a little bit all over the place for this. But it's just so crazy to me. And yes, Pop Tart, I am so thankful for that ceasefire. But oh my God, you know, I'm still so disgusted that that conflict, or sorry, that genocide has been able to be carried out for over a year now. It's just, it's criminal. It really, really is. All right. So let's get into the rest of the stories that we have lined up today. Good morning, Renee from New Orleans. I love your name. It means reborn. And there was another Renee from New Orleans on Love is Blind. I wonder if you watched her. Renee Bush. Wow. How did I learn? I use Pimsleur. I always recommend to people, if you want to learn a new language, use Pimsleur. It is the best way, not Duolingo or the other stuff. They've got a cute little social media Duolingo, but Pimsleur is what's going to get you up and talking. I recommend it to everybody. So today, of course, we're going to be talking about Wendy Williams and her conservatorship. I'm going to be playing audio from the interview that she did with the Breakfast Club. We're also going to be talking about Drake suing his label. So yesterday it came out that he had withdrawn the lawsuit. And then it also came out like after we finished the morning report, and shout out to you. Please let yourself be known in the chat if you said this, but someone in the chat was like, hey Grace, like, no, the rumors are saying that he's going to refile it just in a different way. And sure enough, that is exactly what it is that he did. The label is clapping back against him. And he's also, it seems like he's trying to do this lawsuit in an effort to stop Kendrick Lamar from being able to perform Not Like Us at the Super Bowl. Do you guys know how many tens of millions of people watch the Super Bowl? Imagine. And the reach on social media in general, it's about 500 million people that are reached by the Super Bowl halftime performance. So I understand why Aubrey is quaking in his boots, you guys. It is because Kendrick Lamar could very well pop up there on that stage, call him a PDF file in front of 500 million people. And although it is giving Karen, and although it is giving, you really are not like, you know, us or them, I understand why he's doing it, because it's huge. And he's saying that his son was bullied and he had to pull his son out of school as a result of the song. So he is throwing everything he can in an effort to make sure he is able to block this performance. And I'm sorry, but it makes me laugh so hard. Drake, you started this beef. You're the one who came after these people and said you were the hardest, you were the best, you were this, you were that. And now when they come back and they show you that you were wrong, you were not the best, you go running to the courts. Oh my God, what an embarrassment. We've got to talk about Keke Palmer talking about how during her childhood, she resented her parents because they had her acting as the breadwinner for the entire family. It was a lot of pressure put on her shoulders as a child. And then we're also going to talk about Faith from Vanderpump Rules. Do you guys remember how she is suing the network, Bravo? And she's also suing NBC for what happened to her after she had an affair with Jax Taylor on the show. And the cast, the ladies of the cast started to harass her. And a lot of it was done in a very racist sort of way. Then we've got Caitlin and Tyler from Teen Mom 2 or Teen Mom Next Chapter. They finally sold their home. The home was in pre-foreclosure. We're going to talk a little bit about these finances that are looking a little sketchy, okay? As usual, you guys, if you're enjoying this stream at any time, please do not hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up to let YouTube know that you enjoy my content and you want to see more of it, okay? So let's get into all of this. But before we do, can we talk about Michelle Obama? Let me pull her up. Y'all know I love FLOTUS, okay, the Forever FLOTUS. I even went to Montreal to as part of her book tour as a Christmas gift to my mom. I got us, and you can see this on my Grace Report Instagram. It's somewhere over there. I got us like a backstage VIP tickets to meet her and everything. Like, it was a big deal for us, okay? But it looks like something might be happening between she and Barack. Have any of you guys been like wondering what's going on? Because there was recently that funeral for the deceased president, Jimmy Carter, I believe it was. She didn't show up to that. Okay. And now there's going to be the inauguration for Trump coming up, and she's not showing up to that either. And so, of course, people are going, okay, well, when it comes to Trump, she doesn't want to go because, like, you know, he said a lot of very nasty things about her and about her husband. Of course, her husband has to go as a formality as a former president, but she can just stay at home. But I don't know. It feels like there might be something a little bit off there. Her father did, unfortunately, recently pass away. So maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know. But I feel like there's something going on. And I'm wondering if, you know, could it potentially be trouble in paradise? Could it be something else? I don't know, but it's making me nervous. I hope we're not going to hear about a presidential divorce on the horizon. My Canadians already suffered a quote unquote presidential, and I say quote unquote presidential because we do not have a president. We've got a prime minister. His name is Justin Trudeau, and he actually just recently announced that he is stepping down as prime minister, but that is neither here nor there. While he's still in the office, he recently announced a separation from his wife, Sophie Grégoire Trudeau. And I believe that could eventually lead to a divorce. So it's kind of sad to hear that there's going to be another, or could potentially, because we don't know, there could potentially be another, you know, political separation or something like that. But I don't know. I'm just speculating. I feel like something's off. And remember, when she was doing a press tour for her last book, she did a lot of like interviews where she kind of talked about being married to him, you know, being kind of like a nightmare in like the first few years of their marriage and whatnot, right? Because he had all of these huge aspirations to the point where he neglected his home life, his role as a husband and everything like that. So I don't know. Listen, I like her a lot, and I really, really want the best for her and the family and everything like that. So I hope that that is not the case, you know. And don't forget, remember, like, she was there for 2016 when Trump was there for the inauguration. So we're really changed between the two of those years, right? The two inaugurations. We're going to have to keep an eye on this, you guys. I really hope that I am just, you know, making a mountain out of a molehill, y'all. I really, really, truly do. Now, let's get into the Drake lawsuit situation, okay, you guys, because that is a major one. We'll do Drake, then afterwards we're going to jump into Wendy Williams, and we've got an awful lot when it comes to Wendy. And no, Milan, I have not heard a thing about this, and I shudder at the thought. Sorry, but downgrade. Anyway, let's get into Drake, y'all. So Drake is suing UMG, Universal Music Group, for defamation for distributing Kendrick Lamar's, quote, false and malicious narrative that he is a PDF file. So he filed this lawsuit Wednesday late afternoon, early evening. And in the lawsuit, he tells us, or he claims, that UMG knew that Kendrick's lyrics and the images in his music video referring to Drake as all of these terrible things were false and dangerous. He says that his label was doing everything that it could to pump up the popularity of the song because it would then devalue his own music, Drake's music and brand, and therefore give UMG leverage in future contract negotiations with Drake. And mind you, here's the thing. UMG paid Drake $400 million for a signing with him. So to me, it just does not make sense that this group, who already paid him such an exorbitant amount of money, which is almost $500 million, would then go back and try to ruin his career as an artist. If anything, you would think that his own music label would try to suppress the song, right, in order to keep Drake, because Drake is the highest grossing hip hop star, and he has been for several years now. From a business perspective, it just does not make sense that that is what it is that they would do, right? And so furthermore, in his lawsuit, Drake says that, what's going on in New Orleans next month. So shout out to you, Renee, from New Orleans, and any other of you viewers who are from New Orleans, because that is where the Super Bowl is going to be held in February. Drake is saying that the song could potentially be performed on that stage. And he's saying that if these false allegations, allegedly false allegations, because we don't know that they're false, just like we don't know that they're true, right? We know that Drake has been very open about having close relationships with people who are underage, particularly girls who are underage. Drake, you're the one who said that you enjoy going to high school basketball games as a grown man. Drake, you're the one who said you had a close relationship with a 16-year-old Millie Bobby Brown. And she said that y'all be texting and stuff like that. Why would a 30-something-year-old man be texting with a 16-year-old girl? I myself, as a 30-something-year-old woman, have no business texting a 16-year-old girl. I would never do that. It's just why? We have nothing in common. I have no interest in being friends with teenagers. Why? Right? So, you can deny it all you want, right? But you have made yourself look like a weirdo. These allegations are not coming from nowhere. These are coming from your own things. He even has had raps lyrics about, high school pictures. She was even bad then. Come on now. So in the lawsuit, he talks about being scared that Kendrick Lamar is going to be performing this song at the Super Bowl. Do you guys remember when Kendrick did the iconic pop-up that led to the dissolution of Drake's friendship with LeBron, because LeBron was over there dancing with everybody? Kendrick Lamar performed the song 6 times. If he did that again at the Super Bowl, can you imagine the impact if all he did was rap that one song 6 times? I'm sorry, but that would be so iconic. And you know what? You would think I dislike Drake. I don't. I actually really like some of his music. I think the Take Care album still has no skips. I really, really love it. But I love the rap beef. Y'all know I love a good rap beef. And this is a rap beef that he lost. And it is his own fault. No one told him to ignite this this rap beef. Okay, let's take a listen to what some of you guys are saying. Ali says, I don't think Drake will be able to stop him from performing because I don't believe that emotions would be hurt. The emotions would be heard in time. Exactly. Listen, these things move very, very slowly. The performance is already happening. I think the best he can do is seek an emergency injunction. But is this really an emergency? I don't think so. I don't. And I think that Kendrick would fight back. And I feel like Kendrick could potentially do a shout out to the Karen over there. Like, he really is not like us, taking it legal after he himself has said some rather, inflammatory things about other rappers, including Kendrick Lamar. Drake, you called Kendrick a wife beater, right? So tit for tat, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? Boss Lady says Millie was like 13, 14. Exactly. So you're over here talking about being friends with 13, 14-year-olds and stuff, texting them. Ew, it's weird. It's weird. There you go. He has a long history of being in very, very inappropriate situations with underage girls. So, can we say that it's gone further than inappropriate friendships? No, we cannot definitively say that, but we can say that this is how grooming happens, right? These are symptoms. I'm not saying he's a groomer, but this is how groomers work, right? They start being your friends, right? And then it just gets worse and worse. So I do understand why people believe these things about him. And I don't think that they exclusively come from Kendrick Lamar. So let's get into the part. I don't know why my nose is blocked. Let's get into the part where he talks about his son, Adonis. Y'all, do you remember? This was another epic rap beef. Drake was hiding the fact that he even had a child, right? He had this porn star pregnant. Her name is Sophie. By the way, she's a very, very talented artist. So he had her pregnant and he was hiding it from the world. He got into this major, major, major rap beef with Pusha T. And then Pusha T spilled the tea that Drake was a father. And so he made a song called something about Adonis. And that's when Drake finally decided to go ahead and claim his child. So, Drake really, he's someone who is just constantly taking rap beef L's. And it is just so damn sad, but I digress. Now, in his lawsuit, I'm going to pull it up right here where he talks about the effects that Kendrick Lamar's lyrics have had on his child at school, or what he's claiming are the effects that his child has had at school. Okay, you guys. In line 17, he says, with the palpable physical threat to Drake's safety and the bombardment of online harassment, Drake fears for the safety and security of himself, his family, and his friends. After the attacks on his home, Drake pulled his son out of the elementary school he attended in Toronto due to safety concerns. And once school ended for the summer, Drake arranged for his son and mother to leave Toronto entirely. Day to day, Drake continues to take steps to address persistent threats to his security. I'm sorry, but this is giving Karen. This is giving, like, I'm calling my dad to shut this thing down. Drake, you said a lot of things. Kendrick Lamar could say the same thing. You all have rabid stands because you guys are talented rappers who are very, very famous. And when you're famous, you are bound to have at least a couple, right? Unbalanced, unhinged people who follow you and are ready to attack people on your behalf. And so I'm sure Kendrick could say something similar, right? About his kids being harassed by other kids who are pro Drake or whatever. What about you guys? Are you sympathetic to him based off of what he's saying so far? Because I'm just not, but maybe I am stone cold. Who knows? Boss Lady says, Aubrey also bragged about giving false info to Kendrick's team so he can mess up the rap battle. Exactly. There you go. And the stuff that Kendrick was saying, didn't he pull up a screenshot of the neighborhood watch and how it had all these pins about like the people? Who's the one who had the weird case? Baca. Is he still around, Drake? Because he got a weird case apparently. There were some facts being spilt there, right? About him being associated with people who are on neighborhood watch. Allie says Drake didn't want to claim his son. Exactly. Drake, I'm sorry, but he is a bit of a joke. He is getting the karma. He got too cocky because here's the thing. Drake is popular as a rapper, but it's not like there's a difference between mainstream rap and rap. So Drake is a mainstream rapper, not a rap rapper, if you know what I mean. And so he kind of got the two mixed up. He got it twisted and he learned the hard way. And that's all it is. How do Canadians? Listen, I can only speak for myself. And this Canadian right here, I still like his music, but I find him to be creepy. I find him to be a weirdo. And I don't think that he is, listen, if I had a little sister, I'd be, I wouldn't let her around him either. I'm sorry, just based off the fact that he actually thinks it's appropriate as a gray man to have friendships with teenage girls. It's weird, okay? Now, listen, I got to tee up the Wendy Williams story for you guys. That is coming up. It's a video, the audio of a video of her interview on The Breakfast Club, okay, you guys? So stay tuned for that. I'm going to play a word from our sponsors as I prepare the audio for you. Please, if you're enjoying this stream, do make sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so that YouTube knows and my morning reports continue to get served to you, okay? Take a look at the message and I'll see you on the flip side to talk about Wendy Williams. The morning report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Are you looking for the perfect skincare products for women over 30? Look no further than Rothia. Rothia is a skincare brand born from love and made for parents. Their flagship product, the Resilience Cream, delivers clinically proven age prevention benefits such as average 14% wrinkle reduction after 4 weeks of use. Click the link below and receive 30% off your first purchase today. Talk about Wendy Williams. I know some of y'all listened to the interview, but for those of you who have not listened to the interview, take a listen to some of the highlights, okay? The entire interview was 37 minutes long. Tell me what you think about Wendy Williams's mental state or what it sounds like it is in this interview. Does she sound like she has got Alzheimer's or dementia, or that she needs to have someone lock her up because she can't take care of herself? And it's so crazy how this interview popped off on The Breakfast Club. They did the little interview. Good morning, this is DJ Andy Charlemagne, blah, blah. And they said, we have a special guest. It's Wendy Williams. And they went straight to business because they didn't know if her conservator or if her handler was going to come on and just shut the entire interview down. You could tell they felt rushed to get this out there before Wendy was punished.
The legend, the icon. Yes. The reason that we do what we do each and every morning, especially me, we have Wendy Williams on the line. Good morning, Wendy. Good morning.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Charlemagne.
Peace, Wendy. And, Wendy's niece, Alex, is on as well. Alex, you're going to be talking too, right? Hey, Alex.
That's my niece Alex. That's my niece Alex. And Charlamagne and I, by the way, have known each other for like 20 years and running.
That is very true. Wow. Listen, Wendy, let's get right to it. I'm going to tell everybody what's going on. Wendy Williams is currently trapped in a conservatorship. If you don't know what a conservatorship is, it's when someone is in charge of making decisions on your behalf, but usually because the conservatee is not able to make decisions for themselves. Wendy can make her own decisions. She is not cognitively impaired. She is not incapacitated. She is being taken advantage of. Right. Wendy, tell us what's going on.
Well, first of all, to start with, my niece Alex knows a lot as well, you know, but I am not cognitively impaired, you know what I'm saying? No, but I feel like I am in prison. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like I'm in New York City, right? And by the way, my apartment has been sold, thank God, you know, a while ago. But I, you know, I'm in this place where the people are in their 90s and their 80s and their 70s, and even when people are 60 like me, hey, I'm sexy and gorgeous. You know, I am 60. Look, please, July 18th, 1964, honey. But look, these
So
people,
there you go. So far, she sounds like she is absolutely fine, you guys. You know, like she's still got her spunky little personality and everything like that. And she's saying that she's currently being held up in some sort of a tower with people who are like in their 80s and 90s who really can't take care of themselves. And it's a very tiny apartment with only one window as well. And so, you know, like I mentioned earlier, she's not even allowed to head out there and go out for a walk. Literally every single breath, every single movement has to be accounted for and has to be approved by her conservator. And again, I ask, who is it that gets to decide that the conservator gets to have control over Wendy's life? Wendy has lawyers in her family and like close family members who have said, hey, listen, if you feel as though she needs a conservator, let us be the ones to look after her. We know her and we have a vested interest in making sure that she is okay. But for some reason, they are not able to be the ones to step up to the plate. The court specifically want for this woman, Susan something. If you know the name, let me know in the chat, or if you're part of my playback posse, let me know in the comment section. But they're saying that it has to be this woman who has control of Wendy. And something that Charlamagne pointed out, which is, as you know, very alarming, and it's very evident that there is some sort of a conflict of interest. It's that this woman got control of Wendy, and then after she was granted control of Wendy in the conservatorship, she made a donation to the judge who allowed her to control Wendy's life and Wendy's finances as well. Like that obviously shows that, or you know, it implies that there was some sort of dirtiness that happened behind the scenes. It feels like corruption to me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Let me know, okay? Houston Rose says, based on our conversation, she sounds very well. You could tell she was nervous about the repercussions of the interview. Exactly, and I hate that for her. Imagine just having a candid conversation with your friends and being, you know, punished for it. And punishment for Wendy could mean, okay, well, you're not going to be allowed to go to your father's birthday. And when your father is 94 years old, you'd better be allowed to go to your father's birthday, because that is just, you know, it's a miracle, right? Every single day there is a miracle. You don't know when the last day is going to be. And so she talked about how she had created something very, very special for her father as well. And so she just really, truly wants to be able to go out there and give her father the gift that she had prepared for him. So, you know, some of the things that they were saying to us is, listen, you guys, please, please, please go ahead, far and wide, share the Free Wendy hashtag, you guys, because she is not doing well. She does not consent to this conservatorship. They're saying that it is a lie. She does not have dementia. They're saying that she's being forced to take random pills, that she doesn't know what the pills are. She is being denied the ability to go and see her regular thyroid doctor that she's been seeing for about 25 years. They truly have taken control of her entire life, and she is not at all okay with what is happening there, okay? Take a listen to her talk about wanting to be there to celebrate her father's birthday. This is the part that really, really got me. It's devastating. I'm just thinking of how old her father is and how he is the only parent that she has left after her mother passed away.
Because she already said to see my dad for his birthday. You know, he's going to be 94. So, and all I can, look. Please continue to talk, Alex. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, look, can I say something out?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I know, you know, you lost your grandmother, Alex. Wendy, you lost your mother. You were in the conservatorship when that happened.
Here's the thing. She was not in the conservatorship when that happened. But that period of time was right before And to know that she may not be able to come down here for my grandfather's 94th birthday. Every day is not promised.
Right.
One thing that I know that my aunt wanted, and we talked about this ad nauseum, she wants to be here for his birthday.
Wow.
And the fact that they're playing games about my grandfather being able to see his daughter and my aunt being able to see her father, I'm sorry. That is just absolutely sickening.
Like, I'm exhausted thinking about, what if I can't see my dad for his birthday? You know, at 94, you know, the day after that is not promised. It's not promised. You know, I have things from my dad that's in storage. And they're little things that I say, you know, I'm not going to give it to him, but I'm going to sew them and make them so that they look perfect on me. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I know how to sew. I've known how to sew for years. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, I want to give my dad some sort of fragrance. You know, I want to go to Sephora and pick and choose. What? My life is like fucked up.
Yeah.
Alex, do you think you?
So there you go, you guys. She is crying. She is sobbing. She is begging for the public's help to be able to get out of this conservatorship and to see her father for his 94th birthday. Again, I don't understand why something like that would even be in question. If you're saying this person's incapable of taking care of themselves, blah, blah, why is it someone that is outside of the family that is able to go and control everything? Why can't, you know, the person or the family select someone that they all approve of? You know, why can't there be some sort of like system set up? I think it's crazy that one random stranger would be able to control tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars like that, and to limit the access that this person has. If someone is not doing well, isn't that a person that needs family and friends more than anybody, right? Why isolate someone like that? Like loneliness, the stress, the anxiety, all of those things are terrible for that person's health. She is spending her birthdays alone. She doesn't even know she's going to be able to see her father for his birthday. All of this is crazy. I am really, really, really glad that Wendy is able to get up there and to speak out and to, you know, for us to hear her voice and just remember, this sounds exactly like Wendy that we saw on TV, right? This is the same woman. So how is it that all of a sudden we're saying that she is off? You know, that she has dementia, she has this, she has that, you know, like it is just so devastating. You know, it is. G.I., come on. Yes, she gossiped, but I feel like this is different, you know, like this is someone controlling her life and putting her in a tower, you know, which is completely different, in my opinion anyway, from gossiping about people. But listen, there are a lot of people who feel the same way that you do as well. So no judgment there at all, you guys. Honestly, this is all just so devastating. And another thing that she spoke about is how the conservatorship lady, Sabrina something, took away her cats. So Wendy had two cats. What were their names? There were Kit Kat and something else. And they went and they got rid of her cats as well. So like she thought that they were being housed somewhere, but no, they full blown got rid of those cats. And she didn't even know about it until she insisted on them telling her what happened to her cats. Because of course, as a cat mom, she is worried and, you know, concerned about their safety and their general well-being as well. Sorry, I keep looking down, you guys, because I'm trying to tee up the next clip because, you know, there's one final clip that I want to share with you guys. And it is a clip of Wendy talking about the Diddy drama, because the people on the Breakfast Club, they said, Wendy, everything you've been saying since your radio days has come to fruition. The Diddy stuff, all this other stuff, it has come to fruition. We need you. We need you to have a podcast. We need you to get out there and just, you know, tell us you told us so or something like that. And so she, of course, responds to that. And I want for you guys to be able to hear for yourselves exactly what she had to say in response to that. And funny enough, I do have a photo of her with the diddler himself. So take a listen to what it is that she has to say about people, you know, finally being able to see that she wasn't, you know, she wasn't lying when it came to Diddy being a bad person and a creepy person. Take a listen.
The other day I was watching Cookout, And there I am in the first opening scene. I was like, oh my God. Season 1, episode 13, there I am on Martin. You know what I'm saying? And as far as Diddy will go to prison for life, people. You don't know things that I knew about Diddy back in the day. And you want to know what? It's about time, people. It is about time. Diddy done.
So there you go. She said the things that Diddy has done are even worse than what we know so far. And the things that we know so far are heinous. We have seen that elevator video where he chases Cassie in his underwear, in his towel, as she tries to escape him without even wearing shoes. So Wendy is aware of that. And she is still saying the things that this man has done are, pale in comparison to what it is that you guys have seen so far. It'll all come out. He is worse than you think even now. And I believe her, y'all. I believe her. I think that he is a messed up, sick, disturbing, crazy person who does deserve to go away for life as well. And I do remember that moment that you're talking about as well, Jay. I do think that that is, unforgivable as well, that she had outed the cancer before the family even knew about that as well. Helma says it's illegal imprisonment and someone paid the court a lot of money to make that happen. Apparently it was a conservator herself who paid the money. So I got to ask you guys, and there is someone here who has been talking about dealing with conservatorships in her own life as well. So shout out to you, Caroline. Caroline has talked about this in the past as well. So, to you, Caroline, and anybody else who has unfortunately had the mispleasure of dealing with conservators, what happens with the money, right? So sometimes it seems as though there's a vested interest in getting a hold of people with money. So is the conservator accountable to anybody for what they do in terms of money? Because, for example, and a lot of you guys are talking about Britney Spears and whatnot, right? Britney Spears' family was making money off of her while she was being held in that conservatorship. Her sister was given access to some of her properties. Her father was paying himself a handsome salary as being, her conservator and whatnot. So who does the accounting? Like, who approves of it if the person whose money is being spent doesn't have any sort of actual human rights? That's something that also very much confuses me about all of this. So I would love to know, what is this woman paying herself to control Wendy, right? And why is this salary justified? Who gets to decide? All sorts of things like this. These sorts of things really do confuse me when it comes to all of it. Okay, you guys, it is a lot, you guys. It really, really is. Honestly, there are a couple of calls to action that came out of this interview. They said, use the hashtag Free Wendy as much as you can. One thing I didn't like is that it wasn't super clear and linear, right? They said it would be great to set up a GoFundMe and a change.org petition. Listen, Wendy is your auntie, right? This is your family member. You guys are the ones with the platform who went on the Breakfast Club. We need for you guys to set up the GoFundMe, and then people will donate, right? You guys set up the change.org petition, and then people will sign it. We can't have a bunch of people coming up with these things everywhere and splitting the effect of it. It needs to be organized and it needs to be streamlined. Her team needs to go ahead and create all this stuff, and then we'll come and then share our support. So again, for those of you who are just joining us now, Wendy only has $15 to her name, okay? She cannot even afford to go out for a nice dinner right now. So that is why they need a GoFundMe. She does not have access to her money. So I really do hope that her team is listening, watching these videos, listening to these podcasts and whatnot, and setting up the platform so that we can go out there and show our true support, right? Boss Lady says, if you research, you will see the conservatorships were created in the 1940s and mostly used by husbands that wanted to take over their wife and money after divorce. Listen, that does not surprise me. I was watching a video by a wonderful YouTuber named Ty from Ty's Hot Messy History. And so she talked about how there was this person who had sent his wife to an insane asylum, where she suffered for the rest of her life because she gained weight after childbirth, right? Or after getting pregnant by with his baby. He was like, no, I don't like your body anymore. I'm going to have you committed. I'm going to claim you're insane. So a lot of these systems that you're seeing now are still doing these things, right? And so conservatorship seems to be another one where Wendy is in one. We had Britney Spears in one. And then there are men who go off the rails. We saw Robert Downey Jr., that man was off the rails. He was never put into conservatorship. There's, what's that guy? The guy, Mel, his house just burnt down. Mel, Passion of the Christ, that guy. You know, he was freaking nuts for a while. He probably still is. And he's not under a conservatorship, right? It seems to be something that disproportionately targets women. And I hate that. Now, Jolie says, speaking of Calvin Hunter, Wendy hinted in her Breakfast Club interview that he might somewhat be responsible for her conservatorship because, and I do urge you guys to go ahead and watch the full interview. It's 37 minutes. If you listen to it on 2x speed like me, it'll be half of that, right? But Calvin Hunter, Wendy is asked by Charlemagne, why are you even in a conservatorship? Like, who brought this forward? What happened? The word on the street had always been that she was placed into one because allegedly her son, Kevin Jr., was spending up a storm on her credit cards. They got frozen because it was not Wendy's typical spending behavior. Yeah, she's got some nice things, but she is overall a frugal person. And so apparently this flagged the system. And then it led to all of this. But no, Wendy is low-key saying that it has something to do with her husband. Go back and take a listen to it. She said it has something to do with her divorce, but she doesn't go into any like deep details about it. Okay, you guys. So, anyway, it sounds like maybe he told the people she was crazy or something like that. That happens around the 14 minute mark of the interview. Listen, I wish I had links to provide you guys, but unfortunately there were no links provided yet. When I get the information, I will be sharing it with you guys, okay? And yes, that's the guy. Thank you all so much. Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson was another guy who was off the rails and probably should have been put under a conservatorship, right? If he was being held, if he were being held by the same standards as women are being held by. But nope, apparently not. Apparently it's only women who get put under these things, and I find it sickening. Whew. Now, y'all, let's talk about Keke Palmer. How many of you guys are Keke Palmer fans? Let me know in the chat, or if you're part of my playback posse, let me know in the comments section. Good morning, I'm here for it all. Keke Palmer has just been a star her entire life. I used to watch her on True Jackson VP. I'm sure we've all seen her on Aquila and the Bee. Did you guys watch the movie Nope? That's one project I didn't like. I'm sorry. I love Keke. I love Jordan Peele, but Nope was extremely, extremely boring. I was not a fan of it. But anyway, she did an interview with the Cut magazine, and she spoke about the resentment that she felt towards her parents as a young child. And, I think it's very understandable, these feelings that she harbored, because she was the breadwinner for the entire family, right? So her direct quote was, not only did she hold resentment, but, quote, "I hated my parents for a long time. There was so much pressure to rise to the occasion for my community, for my parents, for my siblings, for their sacrifices. They weren't saying it, but that was the reality, because I'm the one that we all came here for." And then she also spoke a little bit about being pushed into situations that she was too young to handle. For example, one of her managers, when she was 12 years old, told her, "Hey, listen, Keke, your mom's going to die if she doesn't lose weight, and she needs your money to lose weight, right, in order to take care of her health." And Keke saying that truly traumatized her and stressed her out. It got her thinking that her mom really was going to die, and stressing about things like medical bills, which is a lot for a 12-year-old to even be thinking about. And I do find that to be absolutely devastating. Listen, and people wonder why child stars do not fare well. Right? The reason why is outlined in some of these interviews, right? Keke is talking about being a breadwinner for an entire family. Why are children breadwinners for families? And this happens very often with these people. Do you guys remember Gary Coleman, which is talking about Willis? Him too, right? Macaulay Culkin, Mary-Kate and Ashley. The list goes on. And not only that, but they are vulnerable people as well, right? The Nickelodeon documentary, Quiet on the Set, we hear about them being victimized in the workplace as well. They go through so much. To me, it is not surprising that they turn out as, for lack of a better word, but damaged or, disturbed, right, as they do. It makes complete sense. Their formative years were ruined, destroyed by the industry. And so I got to say that as far as child stars go, Keke is extremely well adjusted, and I'm happy for her. She did have a little period of time there. I believe it was around 2012 2016, 2015, 2016, where she seemed very off and very erratic. And I would like for her to open up about that era. That's the year I met Keke Palmer. So back in the day, I used to work for this company and they would send me to all sorts of like these Hollywood events and whatnot. And so I remember meeting Keke Palmer and like a bunch of these other people I've spoken to you guys about. And, you know, she was giving very erratic, odd energy, but not like in a mean way or anything like that. She was a very nice girl, but very, very erratic at that time. But she overcame that and she seems to be in a much better place now. And I'm rooting for her and I'm excited to follow her career forever. You know, I'm excited to see what 50-year-old Keke Palmer is doing, right? Or 60, 70, 80, 90, all that stuff. Like she is going to be like a lifelong fixture in the entertainment industry if she wants to anyway. And I wish her a beautiful, flourishing, healthy life and career because I really, really, really do love her. And you're right, I'm here for it all. Malcolm in the Middle, Britney Spears, they are other child stars. Theo, I'm going to go ahead and bookmark this song because I have never heard of it. And I do know that she makes music, but I've never really heard any of her music. So thank you for giving me this song to go back and listen to. Back in like the actress making music era in my childhood, I was a Raven Simone stan. I want to see a backflip, cartwheel, you know, and then she had that, like that album, I played it front to back, and then she did the Cheetah Girls thing. I was rabid. I was a rabid Raven Simone fan, and, you know, unfortunately, she didn't turn out that great. Now let's get into the Vanderpump drama. Once again, you guys, if you are enjoying this stream, please don't be shy. Go ahead, feel free to give it a thumbs up so that YouTube knows you are enjoying my content and you want to see more. Do you guys remember Faith from Vanderpump Rules? She popped up in about season 5 and she stayed through season 6. She's the woman who had the affair with Jax. But here's the thing. She's not the only one who had an affair with Jax, right? Jax was cheating on Brittany left and right since the beginning of the relationship. And it started out with Lala Kent. And then when that came out, everybody went rabid on her. And it was really, really, really ugly to see. Okay, like it was ugly. She was treated in a way that no one had ever been treated on that show. And she's suing them for it, as she should. So she's not suing the stars individually, but she is suing the network. And you know what? Who else had an affair with Jax, actually? And this was pre-Britney, but when he was dating Stassi, it was Kristen, Stassi's own best friend. So the fact that even Kristen, who went behind her best friend's back to bang her boyfriend of several years, was not treated like this, like it's just so shocking to me, but I digress. I don't know if I told you guys, but I'm on a rewatch. I've been re-binging Pump Rules, and it's so like, wow, like in hindsight. I'm currently on season 5 right now as Lala is trying to lie and like make up all these stories about that married man that she is dating. And it's honestly crazy. She's actually about to walk away from the restaurant and the show for a little while to hide this relationship. But anyway, let's get back to Faith, y'all. We got to talk about Faith. First of all, I got to ask y'all, what kind of audience do I have here? Do you support her in her lawsuit against the networks? So she is not only suing Bravo, she is also suing NBC. Okay. And the producers of the show, Evolution Media, as well. So she's claiming that she experienced discrimination while filming the show. She was apparently asked to join the show by Lisa Vanderpump, who said that the show cast needed some more color. And according to her lawyers in the lawsuit, Faith was subjected to racism, sexual harassment, and physical assault in her first season. Quote, over time, her treatment got even worse. Many cast members embarked on an overtly racist social media harassment campaign, accusing her of having gone AWOL from the military, which is false, of being a thief, also false, and being a career criminal wanted by the LAPD, also false. And then she accused her co-stars Stassi and Kristen of calling the police on her for a crime she did not commit. Stassi and Kristen, you guys, in case you forgot, but they were actually fired over their behavior towards Faith. And to me, the fact that she did this, you know, that Stassi and Kristen did this, like Jax wasn't even your boyfriend. And they knew that Jax was a terrible person. At this point, Stassi has already filmed a podcast in which she accuses Jax of being a sociopath. She says he's a terrible person, you know, a lifelong cheat. Like, so why behave this way? To me, it felt like they just are racist girls who were looking for an opportunity to unleash and be disgusting to a Black woman. And listen, Stassi already, at this point, I believe she had already done this Instagram post where she was talking about, like, you know, her and her friends, they did a mirror selfie. And so one of them, she said they were Tupac chic or criminal chic, that she said she was Nazi chic. Like, so like it was already apparent that the girl was a little bit off when it came to race, right? And then she had some comments about Oscar so white. So she had already built up a history of kind of like a low-key dog whistling to us that she has some kind of like a racial problem. So when she started doing this sort of thing, Bravo said, all right, that's enough. Like, you're out of here. Kristen was out of here. I just don't understand why they went through these lengths. Kristen, you too. You knew Jax was a cheat because you helped him cheat. And you're a cheat too. You cheated on Tom Sandoval throughout your entire relationship. Like, their behavior here made no sense at all, right? It was a lot, okay? Shem Gems, no, I do not. Actually, I tried to play like one of those Netflix games that they have on the app. I did like the Love is Blind game. So for those of you, because someone was asking me earlier about language learning, another way, if you're into gaming and stuff, to get into language learning is to play a game, but in a different language. So I was trying to play the Love is Blind Netflix app game in Spanish at the time, but I'm just not a gamer. So Faith is also saying, quote, I was also attacked by a cast member brandishing a knife to my neck while threatening to, quote, cut a biatch. I was terrified that I would be STABBED, sliced or disfigured, and was left deeply shaken by the incident, which was captured on camera and later covered up. So that was in reference to Lala. Apparently, Tupac Lala did that to Faith. Like, they did some very, very ugly things to this woman that they had never done to anybody. And this is a cast full of cheaters. The only thing that makes Faith different from everybody in this photo is that she is Black. Tom Schwartz cheated on Katie throughout that entire relationship. No one did anything like this to him. Jax cheated on everybody throughout every relationship. Nobody did anything like this, right? Sheena was sleeping with married, famous, edgy, pretending she didn't know he was married. No one did anything like this. Kristen, your own best friend's man. No one did anything like this, right? Tom Sandoval, even years later, yeah, they accosted him and whatnot, but no one did anything like this. Lala, you were out here sleeping with a man with a wife and children at home. No one did anything like this to you. So I do think that Faith is potentially going to win this lawsuit. And Bravo, NBC, and Evolution Media, they are scared right now, and they're asking for this to be heard privately because this information is extremely damaging to them. And Faith is saying, nope, y'all did this to me in public, so this lawsuit is going to stay public. Another little known thing about this era is that Britney also did something to her. So we know that everybody got fired for their actions towards Faith, with the exception of Lala and the knife. And then another person who got away was Britney. So apparently Britney called Faith nappy. Yeah, she said something, she called her racial slurs, and then she said something about her, quote, nappy hair. And, she managed to get away from this unscathed. Honestly, all of this is very, very disturbing. Faith said that she had gone to the producers and to NBC at the time and, quote, expressed her intention to involve law enforcement, and they told her not to. They said that it would have severe repercussions for her if she were to go and involve law enforcement. So basically, they threatened her job, and then they allegedly retaliated by not paying her anymore. You guys, like, wow. She says that Lisa Vanderpump herself also got involved and warned her that I would be terminated if I could not find a way to get along with Lala, my attacker. Out of concern for my job security, I held my tongue and refrained from reporting the incident to law enforcement or disclosing it to the media. And then, of course, she talks about being demoted from a cast member who was being paid to a volunteer and locked into her contract as well. So notwithstanding, VPR producers and NBC declined to exercise my option, instead forcing me to sign a new contract stating that I would henceforth be a volunteer. I was relegated to this volunteer status for my final 2 seasons on the show. I received no compensation despite being treated like an employee under VPR producers and NBC's complete direction and control, and remaining a central part of the plot. And it is true, she was a central part of the plot, right? A lot of people were talking about her and this whole thing for a long, long time. Julie said, recaps of what? Sorry, I'm a little bit of a bird brain sometimes. Did I mention another show? Please let me know. Jackson's an awful person that used to be attractive and masculine. He is skating on his look. Stassi and Kristen had a full campaign of racism towards Faith. They were committed to the racism. And this was they could have gotten Faith deleted with their actions. They kept on calling the police. Imagine what could have potentially happened to Faith. We know that the police, unfortunately, are rather hostile to Black people in the US, right? And sometimes very innocent interactions, or what are supposed to be interactions with them, end up in, for some people, right? I'll never forget the way there was this little boy, and you know how kids play with toy guns and stuff? There's this little Black boy, I forgot his name. Was it Ramir Rice or something like that? He was just in his yard playing with a little toy gun, and then a cop pulls up in a car, jumps, barely even puts it in park, and shoots down this child. And it was just insane, So you're in this kind of a climate, right? And you're in a climate where they are strangling people. They're doing all sorts of things like this to people. And you are repeatedly calling someone to go after this woman. You're calling her former employment in military, all sorts of things. Those are such ugly, evil, despicable, actions from, ugly, vile, despicable, evil women. I know they've tried to rebrand these girls with the Valley and whatnot, but I will never be able to get into them. They are just yuck to me, absolutely disgusting and vile. Ugh. It's scary to me that people like that are having children, but I digress. Listen, I've got some more Teen Mom news. I know yesterday I said, wow, we are 2 for 2, but y'all, it looks like we are 3 for 3 now with the Teen Mom stories. So let me just wrap up some of you guys' comments here, because you guys had a lot to say about this story. And then we're going to get into Caitlin and Tyler from Teen Mom, because I got a lot of questions for y'all. Accountants, stick around. Real estate agents, stick around. Mortgage brokers, agents, stick around, okay? People who own homes, stick around. People who are looking to own homes, stick around, because we got a lot to talk about when it comes to that. And I'm here for it all. I agree, it's very, very weird. And unfortunately, that's a very popular, trope, right? And Boss Lady, I agree. I haven't really been able to really like Lisa Vanderpump after all of this, just based off the way that she behaved. And I hate that all of these people were able to find their way back onto our television screens. All of those firings were 100% performative at the end of the day. And thank you so much, Karma and everybody else. His name was Tamir Rice. That story is just absolutely horrific. Okay. Now let's get into the final story of the day. We're going to be talking about Caitlin and Tyler from Teen Mom. They finally sold their Octagon house. Do you guys remember that house of theirs? It was a very kind of I think they called it a Victorian house. It was an older home. It was very beautiful. It was shaped like an octagon. And then they decided to put a pool in the backyard, but then they framed the pool long, and then with this, it had a tip. So picture that on the end of a house that is circular. So from a bird's eye view, their house looked like a giant penis. So they had gone into pre-foreclosure on this house and scrambled to sell it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Teen Mom Posse, but is this not the home that he had let his sister live in for free? Because his sister, she's another mess. She's kind of like Butch Jr., basically, just in general. And she was living there for free. The house they had only bought together in 2017 for $220,000, which is very reasonable. If you've got a $50K salary, you can afford a house like this, right? So for two people who are earning upwards of $700,000, it was a very, very conservative purchase. So it is really stunning that they were able to get into pre-foreclosure on this home. Right. They listed the home initially for $455,000, but then they eventually had to take it off the market after about a year because nobody would buy it. And then they put it back on sale December 26th for $425,000, so $25K off, and it sold pretty much immediately. The sale is not finalized. However, it is under contract right now. Okay. Again, I'm surprised they couldn't afford it because this is something that was, it was a very smart buy on their end. It's way under what their budget would be for their combined household income of about $700,000. And the thing is, like I mentioned earlier, they were not living in that home. It was his sister, and his sister's a mess. We had seen on the show that she was not taking care of the property in any capacity. Like, it was falling apart because of her. So I guess maybe they were doing repairs and that wound up causing like a lot of money. I don't know, but I digress. Okay, you guys. And so they ultimately are living in a different home that they purchased. And this is where I need you guys' expertise, because this is where I go, what is going on with their money, right? So Caitlin and Tyler, just the other year in 2023, they purchased a home. Write this down, y'all, because I need your help. They purchased it for $435,000 with a mortgage of $427,000. So when you subtract 427 from 435, you get 8,000. That is how much they put down on this property. These two people who are making anywhere from $700,000 to $1 million a year were only able to put down, what is that, 1% even? 2%, 0.5%? Mathematicians, mathematical, let's go. What's the deal there, right? I'm not understanding what is happening with their money. They only put down $8,000 on this home. Another thing that's very odd about it is that Kate's name is not on the deed to the home. I'm wondering if her credit in particular is shot. Like, there's a lot of things about their finances that are not really making sense. And I don't think that, they're like frivolous spenders or anything like that, with the exception of Tyler buying his sister a boob job. But I don't know. I'm wondering if these are questions that are going to be answered in the forthcoming season of Next Chapter, because it's just, and here's my thing, right? When these people their credit is going down the drain because they are not paying for their home, right? And the home is in pre-foreclosure. How is it that the bank is able to give them double the mortgage, double for a different property, with only about 1 or 2% down? Because to me, at that point, you become a high risk client or borrower, and the lender has to secure themselves by making you pay more than the average person would have to pay, because you have a history of not paying your debts, right? So if anybody who is well versed in the real estate field, in the financial sector, mortgages, anything like that, please do help us out with this question, y'all. This is a mic check, 1 2 1 2. If you're someone in this field watching live, let me know in the chat. Or if you were someone watching the replay, let me know in the comment section, my VOD squad, because I do not understand. Tamara says, Michelle did not show up because she didn't want to be sat next to, Michelle, you must be starting late. She didn't want to be sat next to Trump, and I would not go to the inauguration either. Listen, maybe that's it, but she went already back in 2016. So it's kind of looking like, I don't know, maybe she needs more time to grieve her father, or maybe something else is going on. And a lot of you guys are still very much, impacted by the Vanderpump Rules story, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because it is a very, very sad story to go back and relearn and re-listen and reread, hear what it is that Faith went through in that environment. All these people who cheated on their significant others, and she was the only one who was literally abused over it. Shamjan says, well, you only have to put between 3.5 and 20%, depending on the type of mortgage loan. If they plan to sell quickly or something, I suppose I could see why they don't want to put too much down. But here's the thing, typically, but you have to have good credit for that. No, like if you already have shown that you have a home in pre-foreclosure, or you're not paying, and it's impacting your credit, typically you would have to put on the higher end, right, of a down payment. That's why I don't really get why they got away with this, right? And is $8,000 3.5% down of that? Can someone, let me whip out my calculator, okay, you guys? So hang on, you know what? I'm kind of bad at calculator for percentages. So let me ask ChatGPT. If you put 427, 100,000 down on 435 home, what percentage of a down payment is that? Please do not steer me wrong. ChatGPT says that is, girl, she's giving me formula. Did I ask you for a formula? That's a 2% down payment. That's not even a 3% down payment. How did they get away with that? And again, where is their cash going? I'm very curious about that. Tamara, shout out to my fellow Canadian. Whoop, whoop. I believe Boss Lady is from Canada as well. White privilege, maybe. I don't know. It is true that it is harder for Black borrowers to get a mortgage. They need to help and should be able to take it before it's too late, right? Anything below 20% down is going to have mortgage insurance, right? And also a higher monthly payment. Exactly. So it's very interesting. I don't know how they managed to get away with this, you guys. Very, very interesting. Mary says, how they still not able to get it together. They had MTV money. Damn, I should have gotten pregnant at 16 instead of going to nursing school. And that's the thing, right? They still have that money for now. The show is not as popular as it once was. They are aging out of it. The kids are going to be adults in like 2-3 years. So, well, for them, it's a little bit later because their initial, their firstborn child was adopted out. And so the kids you see them appear with on the show are younger than everybody else's kids, right? So it feels as though if I were in their position and I was having money problems, I would try to put down as much as possible on my next property to try and be able to pay it off, because I don't know what they're going to be able to do for work after this, right? And it's already showing and apparent that they're having money issues. So in my opinion, they need to try as quickly as possible to own their home in cash. One thing I love about Brianna from Florida in Teen Mom Next Chapter, shout out to you, Theo, your people, and anybody else here from Florida, is that she buys her homes in cash. She owns 2 homes, not the bank owns the 2 homes. Brianna Soto de Jesus owns the 2 homes. That's what I think that Caitlin and Tyler should be doing in order to, feel that security and be safe when this show eventually ends, okay? And y'all, yes, thank you, Caroline. Like Caroline says, if you are enjoying this stream, please do make sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. We're actually about to go ahead and wrap up here. I got to go lift, you guys. I've been flaking on Pilates, so I have to make up for it by lifting tonight. I'm doing a body pump class at 6:30, and right now it's 5 o'clock, so I better get ready. Be Wise is from Canada too. Shout out to all my Canadians and everybody watching from around the world. Guys, what a wonderful, wonderful morning episode. And now I can finally say it because I won't be jinxing because we are wrapping up and heading out. But how great is it that it went off without a hitch? Yesterday did me dirty. I was so upset about it, but today is great. I cleared out my entire computer. I restarted it. And so now everything is working just perfectly. So thank God for that. Okay, you guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. JJ, they tried to launch like a gender neutral children's clothing line. They've done some like brand ambassadorships, but nothing has really stuck for them so far. And yes, Ali, Pilates is so good for that. I love that like burn you feel in your abs and everything like that. So kudos to Pilates for that. Take good care of yourselves, you guys. And I'll see you tomorrow for the final episode of the morning report this week. So for those of you who might have been new to this, we go live every single weekday, Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The page is already set. So go ahead, hit that bell so you will be reminded and notified when I go live tomorrow. Take care, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow or my next videos. Bye, guys.